live or something like that. I think I am. So let me just check real quick and see if it's now. Oh, yeah, looks at that. Yeah, 5 followers. This is very impromptu. This is a very impromptu thing that I'm doing tonight. And we're going to, well, you should be showing this. I am broadcasting. Don't end it. Reload. Oh, come on. It's there, right? Yeah, I'm live. Stream manager. I am online. Well, okay, so it says I'm online. That's awesome. That's great. Okay. Well, I'm going to consider I'm online until I'm told otherwise. I'm just going to do this real quick. See if it killed my internet. Does it look like I'm doing something? Yeah, it does. Okay, good. All right. Well, I have no idea if I'm going to get anybody to show up tonight, but you know what I need to do is I need to go over here and I need to go in the old Twitters and say, yeah, I'm live. And I do appreciate Jeff Fritz for at least giving me a little bit of a shout out. Let's see, Twitch. Yeah, no. We want that. I like I said, this is a very impromptu thing tonight. I am not really prepared at all. Come hang out. Yay. Okay. One person's here. Thank you for being here, whoever you are. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of videos on YouTube, and I've been streaming for my employer, which is Rocket Mortgage, but this is my personal stream. So, I'm going to make it a little bit more do whatever I want. We'll just call it that. Actually, I do want to see something here real quick. Not that. Okay, that'll work. Okay. And I tried to stream a year or so ago, and that failed miserably. So we'll see if it fails miserably tonight. But I figured, have a beverage of your choice. And I was going to just maybe code for an hour or two and do something that's a lot more off the cuff and something that's just silly and quite frankly, probably a little bit stupid. But, I think that's what I'm going to be doing with this Twitch thing. If it continues to work, is just kind of weird, odd, strange, fun ideas. And, if people start showing up and want to chat on a Thursday night or whenever I move to do this, well, we'll just do this. So what am I actually doing? What am I going to be doing tonight? Oh, I don't know. I think we're going to be doing this. So I got kind of motivated a little, just like a day or so ago or whatever. I can't remember, but I've been looking at all my projects that I have out on GitHub and trying to update them for .NET 6. And there's this one app out here that I have called Quixo. So let me actually put the URL in here, because if you really care what it's doing, you can take a look at it if you'd like. There you go. And what this app does, is this the old version? No, that's not the old. Yeah, this is the old version. So we're going to make this the startup app, and we'll give this a whirl. Let's see if it's actually or not. I don't remember. This is the old code that should work. Well, it says it's successful. There we go. Okay. So you see this really crappy WinForms app here. It's bad. But this is based on a game called, appropriately enough, Quixo. It's a board game. And my family, especially my wife and I, we like playing a lot of board games. Nothing like super complicated, like board games that take 5 hours to read all the rules. We don't do that. Just don't have the patience for it. And in fact, I remember when I was in college, my last 2 years of undergrad, I was living with 3 other guys in an apartment, and they had friends that would come over like on a Saturday and play all day and all night, like Axis and Allies, these really long, complicated games. And I remember they would get into these just wild ass arguments over rules. Like I almost felt get to fisticuffs. And I remember one time they asked me as I was like, I was walking from one room to the other, and they're basically like in the middle room was where we had our kitchen and like the kitchen table and stuff. And they asked me, "Hey, is there getting us set up?" They're like, "Hey, you want to play?" And I said, "No." I'm like, "Well, why not?" I said, "You guys seem like you absolutely hate each other when you play this game. Why would I want to play this with you?" They just kept walking, and I just heard silence. I just heard total silence. Like, oh, okay, maybe we are taking this too seriously. So, anyway, this is a game that it's a little bit like you can kind of think of it as tic tac toe, where this board actually has 25 wooden cubes, and they're in a 5x5. And the ones that you can access, as you can see, are the ones that are outlined in yellow. So you go X and O. So each of the cubes has 4 blank faces, one has an X and one has an O, and all of them are blank to start. So what you do is you pick a valid piece and then you say, where do I want to move it? So you can think of, I'm saying I want to take that piece in the red now, and I'm going to move it over either to the other side of the board or to the other 2 sides. And when you move it there, you're actually pushing all the other pieces down or across. Okay, so if I did this, now I have an X there. Now, if I was the O, I could pick this and move it here, and what you'll see is the X slides over one. Okay, and now I could pick a X and move it here. You can see I'm starting to build an X row here, and the 2 players are just human. Okay, the reason I did this game though is because I wanted to have a human player, and then I have a random engine, which all that random engine does is it picks a valid move at random and says, of the available pieces that I can move, I'll pick this one, and then where can I move it? And then it will just randomly pick one of those 1, 2, or 3 or whatever spots it can go. And so that one's pretty easy to beat. But I was trying to learn about how to do like min-max, alpha, beta pruning, and so I made an engine that does this. And so I'll pick this, and now what it's doing is it's actually thinking. And it should at some point, I never really optimized this very much at all, but it should at some point, let's give it a couple seconds here. It should at some point actually, there, it picked the 0. Okay. And you can see down at the bottom here, I put in here what it thinks the best move is and what the evaluation of the board is for, it thinks that it's even right now. Okay. So if I said, you know what, I'm going to put in an X here. Now we'll let it think for a second or two. The other thing I did when I built this game is I made it so that it was a little bit more, you can see the board, and the stretching of it actually is a little bit fluid, which is nice. So now it thinks it's up by 12 points, whatever that means. So I'm going to say, no, you can't go there. I'm going to push that O out. And, we'll just play this through because I literally have never beat this game. When I've played my engine, I have never, ever beat it. And I'm not saying that makes it good. I'm just saying I don't know how to actually win against the game that I've created a monster in a way. So if you ever get to actually beating, I've actually had 2 instances of this up once and playing each other, and they actually, because it is deterministic that they will always start with the same move, and then they'll always react with the same move. So they'll eventually get to a point where they're just like keeping themselves in like perpetual check, if you want to think of it that way. So, but let's see if I did, let's just put an X there. Ha. How dare, what are you going to do now? And it's going to search through its tree. And eventually I don't want to play this all the way through, but I want to see what's, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to push an X down there because we want to have more. And we'll see what it does. What it'll probably do is do this one. It will push down here. Yep. That's exactly what it did. So how dare you? You know what? No. You're not going to do that. Because now I'm going to have 3 X's here and an X there. So what you're going to do? You're going to do that. So now it's got 3 this way. So yeah, it's fun. So this is all written in WinForms, and I wrote this years and years and years ago. I can't remember how long, I think I actually had this out on Coplex when I did it. If anybody remembers the old Coplex days. And a friend of mine, actually, a friend of mine, Mike Hodnick, we actually sometime back when WPF was a thing, if it ever was a thing, it was a thing. He got into a lot of 3D stuff in WPF, a lot of complicated stuff. It was really cool. And so I said, hey, why don't we see if we can make a 3D version of this game? And so I also have that code. I believe that's also out on let me see here. Jason Bach, and I think it's Quixel 3D. No, not 32, 3D. Yep, that's where the other one is. Okay. Now this one you can see it says 9 months ago. That's because I pushed the code up there. Um, you know, I have done no work on this at all whatsoever, other than taking that code. Like I found it, I talked to Mike and I said, hey, do you mind if I push it up here? And he said, sure. So I put it here. I've done nothing. I have no idea if it builds, nothing like that. But this was actually a 3D version of the game. And it kind of used the same engine that I had here. It was a little hard to see like where all the pieces were because you had to go left, right, and then you had that third dimension. You could go diagonal as well. So that was kind of fun. But what I'm doing right now with this game is the last time I touched it, Alan, I said you could come on tonight. And, I didn't expect this kind of harassment, buddy. I really, this is uncalled for. I might have to ban you. I have to have I run a, well, dude, I said harass. I didn't mean just like, spam me. Can ASP.net 6? I have no freaking clue. Dude, bite me. What the hell is this shit? Yeah, I think I'm going to be a little bit more candid with my language on this one because it's my own personal one and it's Twitch and whatever. So the last time I updated this, I got it so it's compiling against .NET Core. If you look really, really closely, you'll see that the WinForms icon is not that red, blue, whatever the other color was. It's just this black and white default icon. So it's up to .NET Core 3. And I thought, well, let's just move it to .NET Core 6. And yeah, that was that was a horrible, horrible decision. In that actually everything kind of got updated. That there's a couple things that I am going to be working on right now, just randomly. Is one of them is I was actually using binary formatter, and that is verboten these days. You do not want to use binary formatter. So like I can save up here. I can say save and open games, and it actually saves it via binary formatter. No, that's not good. So, and I'm actually using the point type from system drawing, and I'm like, why the hell am I doing this? So we're going to get rid of that. But then current formatted files, it doesn't like that type. They don't match. So I'm going to just change that quick to being just text. So it's easy. But then the bigger problem is when I tried to update this with Windows Forms, oh my God, I just, there's a couple controls. There's like menu item context, or tab strip menu, context item menu or something. Like they purposely just remove some types and then say, just this is the one you're supposed to use. And I'm like, I don't know. And plus the way the code is all stored currently in the app for the Windows Forms initialize component, all that stuff that it puts in, that's kind of separated out. So I've got to kind of plan to basically trash what I currently have in my branch, use what I have in the old stuff, and kind of build it up from there. And we'll see how that goes. It's my Windows. It's not Windows Me, but it's my Windows. Okay. So I have over here, if you look down, but you can see where my mouse is, fluttering over there, that this is the old stuff. So this is the stuff that's targeting .NET Core 3. So I've got this just saved over there. So I've got this as a reference. The changes are over on this one, and you can see that I've got it in a branch here. So what I'm going to do first is we're going to get rid of these two projects because we're going to rebuild them. That's all the UI stuff. We need to get rid of that. And then I got some notes here. So what I want to do here is I made the draw. So if I come back here, you'll see that my point is, it's just a point. And then I had to put this empty property here because apparently there's an empty static property on the point in system drawing, but that was easy to make. So I just did that. I have the last book published on Windows. Let me be really clear here. I am not, not, I'm not advocating for Windows Forms development by any stretch of the imagination. That's just what this was written in. And it's more of a curiosity, oddly enough, to see, can I get the damn thing to upgrade to .NET 6? What I'd really like to try to see if I push this into the future is maybe get it working in Blazor or Maui or something like that. And, because just to see if I can target that. I have a strange idea of maybe using like Spectre Console and seeing if I could get a console app version of this, because why not? Why not? Well, who doesn't love Windows Form? Thank you for showing up. By the way, follow, like, and subscribe, all the things, because this has now been live for 15 minutes and hasn't died on me, so that's going really well. Awesome. So yeah, please, I might make this a Thursday night occurrence. We'll see. Who doesn't love Windows Forms? I don't love it and I don't hate it. It actually paid the bills, when I was back doing consulting for many years. There's a lot of Windows Forms apps that I wrote. In fact, there was one, this is where nostalgia is kicking in. There was one app that I had to write, and I won't mention client names or anything like that. But this was back in .NET 1.1 days, if you can imagine this. And it was an app that was being done for a biometrics company. So it was taking scans of people's hands and like trying to identify fingerprints and all this other stuff. But one of their first clients was a client from an Arabic speaking country. So it had to be right to left. So there were some really interesting things going on with right to left in .NET 1.1 days. And by interesting, I mean it was crappy. There was just a lot of things we had to work around. Plus, if we were showing an image, we couldn't flip that right to left because that had to show up the way it was. But then if we were putting annotations on the image, the text had to be right to left. It was like, oh my God, that was such a mess and a half. And we actually found, we had to do a support call with Microsoft because we found a rendering bug. And this is almost 15 odd years ago. But I remember it got to the point, it's like, yep, that's a bug. That's a rendering bug. So what's the workaround? Wait till .NET 2.0 comes out. That's what we were told. I was like, I don't know if I can really tell the client that. I'm sure that would be an interesting discussion. But anyway, so back to the code here. Yeah, when forms, I mean, if again, it's one of those things of, honestly, if your code is working, then there's a good argument to say, well, it works, may not be, I look at code that I write. In fact, that's kind of why I like doing these things, because I look at code that I wrote 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 years ago, and I'm like, wow, that's awful. That's really, really bad, and then I learn a thing or three, I learn a thing or three by trying to get that updated. Okay, so let's get back on track here. This is really going to be random thoughts here, but I think what I wanted to do is, yes, so we're going to go into this formatter that I wrote. We're going to get rid of all the binary formatter stuff because that's just bad. We're going to make it a static class, and we don't need a surrogate selector anymore. People probably don't know what those things are anymore. We're going to make this a static board because that's actually what comes out of the method, and we might as well just, YOLO it and type that to that. That should all be good. What we're really going to do is, with the stream that you give us, is we're going to read all this stuff, and that's just a whole string. And then we're splitting, I really don't care what this code does other than, well, I don't want to mention his name, but Barry, he does not like binary formatter, and for good reason. I totally understand why. So that's kind of why I'm trying to get rid of it. I've got for each move, so I must be splitting on this, and that's what I'm doing in the serialized. So let's not change this because this already works. And so we're basically building up a board here, and then we're just going to be moving the pieces as we parse them out. Okay. And then we get the board back. And then over here, what we want to do is we're going to make this a static void serialize. And we got the stream. By the way, I love this new argument null exception throw if null that they added in .NET 6. That, Alan, I'm going to ban you. Okay. I'm going to ban you if you keep talking like this, buddy. That's just the regions, geez, region and regions. That's what a region should be. I actually have a water cup that I use, and it's upstairs, and I sometimes have it on streams. And it was from a former client that I worked at, and they knew my distaste of regions, so they got me a cup that has a hashtag and regions on it. I thought that was hilarious. I feel attacked. I'm sorry. If you do like regions, then great. But yeah, it's a personal preference. I just do not like them. So in any event, I do like this though. Argument null, exception throw if null, because it has this new thing that's in .NET 6, which is this caller argument expression. Look it up. It's awesome. It makes it so you can capture like what the expression is of the argument you're targeting. And so it makes this a one and done thing. I guess one thing I wish I would have seen from this. So Fritz, if you're still on, make this happen because you work at Microsoft and you can just make things happen. It would have been nice if this actually had a version that returned the value, because then I could have done like an assignment of it if I'm doing this on a constructor. But it is it is what it is. But it's a one liner. I know there's also a proposal, and like for a future version of C#, it was proposed for C# 10, but it didn't make it. It's to do something like that, the bang bang, and there's going to be all these chitty chitty bang bang jokes going around, which were going to be awful. But where it did this, and then it was going to automatically check that for null for you, and if it was null, then with their argument null exception. So it was going to be just like that. That was all the syntax that you would need. I think it's still in proposal from what I can see. Jeff said this is legacy code. I can't see it. It's right here. See, I'm updating it though for .NET 6. So we're trying to get rid of all the legacy. So the VS I hate regions extension was great to allow that. I actually wrote for a book that I did on the compiler API, a deregionizer. So it actually looks for regions and end regions in your code, and then it's refactoring. That's the way I originally wrote it. So you could basically remove all the regions and end regions from your code, and it did it right with the trivia. And so whoosh, it just went away. And then I think I took that once and made it into a .NET tool, so you could install that and then just deregionize your whole code with the tool. It's awesome. And then I'd show that to people, and they'd be like, "Well, I'll just add them back in." I'm like, "You're going to lose. You can't keep up with this tool because it's just one thing and done." So, but again, it's just I've just never seen regions help. They always seem to kind of hurt your code, because you'll have like this region, then you open up and there's like hundreds or thousands of lines of code that somebody's trying to hide, and you just go crying into a corner because it's just not a good thing. All right, so we got serialized. We're going to be serializing the stream with this format, and we are joining with the pipes. So it is what it is. We're not going to change that, but I think, and you know what? We don't need to do this. We can just say it's not a graph, it's a board. And we can just say it's a board. And we don't need, actually use F2. Come on, use the tools that are here. There we go. Why are you look, what what am I doing wrong here? It's a board, right? Oh, because I got it declared down here. Yeah, and I don't need to do that anymore. Okay, and it should be that, so I don't need to do that anymore. Okay, we're good. All right. The I use regions anyway. It's partial classes. I'm such a fan of source generators. That's one thing I've really hooked onto in the last year. And one of the things that's so funny about source generators is that it almost like partials all the things in your code if you're using source generators, because you really need to keep stuff like separate, and you don't necessarily change what may be currently there. So, but yeah, I get the joke. I don't like regions either, but I used to have a coworker that loved them. Some people love them. Some people love them. Good for them. And I'm not saying that they should never be used. They always seem to be abused rather than used well. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like what I I used to like regions. Yeah, exactly, Sulf. That's exactly what I'm getting at. And then you have regions inside of regions. It's like, what are you doing, people? Come on, this is not good. Coming from, I honestly did like regions. Yeah, I again, there are I have run into certain cases where I'm like, okay, a region actually helped out a little bit here. So it's like there's not a lot of things in the world that it's like you never ever want to say that you never do this or you always do this. There always seems to be maybe one or two cases where tabs though. Team tab here. Don't use spaces. Let's all use tabs here. That's what's in my editor config is let's use tabs. So maybe I'm going to lose people now. I don't know. I'm sorry. Let's continue because I at least want to get through something tonight. I might not even get to updating any of the Windows Forms code. So we did change that. Now I got to be a little careful because I do have some tests here. Those should also work because I got rid of binary formatter here. Although you don't make a new instance of it right now. You just say board formatter and you say serialize. And you can say here that, and that works. I wonder if I'm going to invoke the IntelliCode here. Let's see if it's going to be smart enough to see what I'm doing here. If you know what I'm talking about, it's because IntelliCode is frighteningly smart at times. It's like, oh, you've been doing this a couple times, so I get that, and so therefore I'm going to wait a minute. What? Realize what did I just do here? This is yeah, this is no longer a valid test because we don't take anything other than a board. So gets rid of that test. Yoink. Love that when you can delete code. It's so much better. Null board. Oh, this is going to tell me because I like to have expression body members. Yes. We want to do that. Expression bodied all the things. We want to do this and get rid of that. I feel like I'm going to say I'm doing all this just to get to a certain point, and that is true. That's what I'm going to be trying to do in a second. Okay. Come on, let's get rid of this line of code. And this line of code, if you're here for high quality coding, well, I hope to do some of that. But this is meant to be very relaxed, fun code for this stream and for future ones. Okay, is there any errors here? No, there isn't. That's good. But there is. Are these it? No, those aren't it. Where are they? They're in the. I think. Yeah. They're here. Okay, because all these Quixel files are the binary format. So what we need to do here is be a little bit smart in how we run these, because we want to run this test first. And yeah, thanks, Alan. Thanks for showing up. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Alan's a good guy. Known him for a while, and I will give him props and say that he is one of the few guys that I know that it can actually bench press 375 pounds. So don't mess with him. So he's got a little swell to him. So that's a good thing. And I guess he's a really good bowler too. So put those two together. All right. Yeah, two spaces for tab. Well, you see, the thing with a tab though is that you can say how much you want it to be. That's totally up to you. If your spaces and everybody's got to be that space, tab, and they save on file size too. They say that you're saving the environment that way. Let's see. So what I want to do is run these tests once by opening it up with the cursed binary formatter. But then what I want to do is just immediately, we're going to comment all this code out first. This is all kind of hacking. To board formatter, serialize, and we're going to get the stream. Hold on. We'll come back to you. So we want to do how do I want to do this? I want to get a browse stream. Let's let me think about this for a second. I want to do something like this because we have to change all this code anyway. Do that. No, get rid of that. Pull that up here. Put that there. I've got a board. Okay. Well, that's great. Now I want to say here. I almost want to say the same thing. I want to say, except file stream, we want to open it up for write or append, open, open or create. Open existing file. Yeah, okay, that works fine. So that works. And then we should be able to say, because we've closed it when we got past this using. So now we don't want to use that. We want to use the board formatter to serialize, not returning anything, but we need to pass in a board. This board is going to be up here. And that is going to be a null, except that's going to bark because we need to do that. And then we know we don't need to define it here. Okay. So I think what I did, and these tests are here, by the way, that I have. These tests are here because when I was writing this alpha beta pruning engine, this min-max formula, I had occasionally run into some bugs. And so I would actually find that game, save that file out, and then I put it in the test here, figure out what was causing the bug, then fix it, like you're supposed to do with tests. And so I had these in here just to make sure that I would never run into that bug again, that I was not regressing. But this next move should not cause a crash. So we are opening it as the binary format, and then we're just serializing that to our current board. And then we close it, and then we're going to open it again, except this time we're just going to save it as a bunch of text. So this test shouldn't fail. I've got the code in a different, I got the files in a different folder. So if that all breaks, that's okay. So we're saying build succeeded and it failed. Why did you fail? Invalid binary. Oh, yeah. That's right. I see. I'm jumping ahead here. I can't. Yep, this is going to be fun. I can't, in this case, use the point here, but I do. Oh, this stinks. See, what I'm realizing is I really want to use the simple struct and not use the one from system drawing, but these original files all had things saved in such a way that it's trying to deserialize into a system drawing point, and so it's running into a problem with that. So how do we want to hack around this? Do I just put the point back in so that it is a system drawing? And then if I save it out, yeah, I think that should work, because once I save it out, then when I try to read it back in again, it's just going to try to do a new point. But when we flip it back over to our record, then that should work. So we're going to comment this out again. And now let's build, because we want to try to find all the errors and what's happened. Okay. Yes, you don't know what a point is. Eventually, we're going to put in drawing back in, as gross as that feels. That fixed everything? Sweet if it did. Okay, so now let's go back to our move history. No, not that one. Smart engine tests. So now let's run this again. And now it passes, which is great. Let's see if we can actually open this as just a text file. Well, why can't you? Oh, I know why. Crap. I know why. Because this is in, I believe, debug mode. Yeah, so it's copying all these files actually into the directory that it's get rid of build dependencies. Putting them into the debug directory, .NET 6, I believe. So yeah, so what I need to see here is this one is probably the one I changed. And so if I say open with, and let's just put it into the good old Notepad++. That looks awful. um, it's like it's a combination of the two. It didn't overwrite it. So not quite what I want. Not quite what I want, but it's closer. It's closer, which is good. I mean, you can see here that like here's a move, then the response move, then that's move one, and then we have X, and then we have O, and then move, and so on. So I'm thinking if I actually just took all this out, save, that should actually be enough. And so now if I came over here and I did that, and I say Smart Engine tests, and I say overwrite, yes, that's good. And this is all very hacky, but unfortunately needed. So now if I come here, it should recognize now that I can open this up with a text file. And it does. Good, 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 good. That's actually what we want. And now if I come back here and I say, I actually want to open it up as a let's uncomment this. Okay, we'll say that, except we want to now do that. So we deserialize, we now have a board. This we're going to comment out this way just for this purpose here. We're going to use this on all the other ones. Actually, I can, yeah. Oh, I like that. Okay, so we're going to have a board here. We're going to make our engine, manually reset event. We're going to generate a move next piece. And all this is saying is that this used to cause a crash. So I don't think none of these were serial. Okay, that makes sense. Now a test should not have a test should have assertions. So this is actually not the greatest test in the world in that it succeeds by not failing. Okay, but it is what it is. So what we want to do now is take this file, put it here. We're not doing binary formatter anymore. Get rid of that. And then all these pragma warnings will go away once I get this all updated, because those all have to do with the fact that I still had binary formatter in place. So engine, debug writer, event, engine, board clone, blah, blah, blah. Cross fingers. I believe this should succeed now. And it does. Success. So what I'm going to do now is we're just going to have a test here. We're going to abuse the test attribute for just a moment and file abuse. Just, I don't know what else to call this. But what we're going to do here is we're going to just change all the other files because we know that's going to work. So we can take this out of here now. And we'll say this one should go to this file and this file. Good. Let's run this test, and that should change the file. But then we're going to need to what? Come over here and go into bin, debug 6, and engine doesn't, what's it called? Engine doesn't prevent loss. Okay, let's open that up in Notepad because we're still going to have this kind of weird error. Do that. That should be enough. Close it. Now, this is so wonky, but it's the right thing enough to do. So we got that in there now. Okay, we're gonna have to do this for about 5 other files, I think. So just hold on. I will get there. Actually, let's do this. Let's split the screen. Nice little feature that you can do in Visual Studio. We did this one. We did this one. We're gonna do this one now. Okay, run that test. And that should just pass. And then let's go on to bin, debug, R6. What is this one? Here, engine missed winning move. Yes, let's edit it here. Do all the right things like that. Get rid of all this crap. There we go. Copy that. Put that here, and we're done. What's the next one? We did here engine missed move, bad move, that, and that. Let's run that. If this was something that I needed to do all the time, I would be a little bit more like, let's automate this. But this is just, I got to get these files. Bad move 0.22. Let's open that up. Get to this point. Delete all that. Save, close, copy, paste, place a file. Yes, I think we're good there. Okay, what's next? And this is 2.1. Sure, why not? Run this test. And hopefully I'll get some of this boring stuff rather quickly. As quickly as I can. Because this is not fun stuff. Who likes to watch people parsing files? Not me. But hey, I'm learning stuff. Okay. Do that, close, copy, back up here, paste. Good. And then we're going to come over here. And where are we at right now? How many more do we have to go? Some of these I'm ignoring. That actually didn't have anything in it. So was that it? See, the thing is, I've got those files. Did not try to make it 4 in a row. These, I think I used to have in tests, but like they were down here. But they're see, this is the thing, like commented code, right? You don't want to put in commented code because, oh, we're going to use that later. Well, you have that in history, but then of course you don't actually have it in the code. So am I going to need that later? But I'm not using them right now. They're not referenced anywhere. So why should I keep them around? Let's get rid of them, right? You can see what we changed. If I look for that name, that should be nowhere, and it isn't. Get rid of that one. Get rid of these two. And again, I got everything in Git, so I'm good that way. I do think though that computer crash, and yeah, so it still has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here engine misses. I don't think I had that in here though, did I? Oh, so that one can go too. I don't need that one. I'll use 5. I can probably do that as a wild card now that I'm thinking about it as I'm looking at this, but it is what it is. Okay, so what I should be able to do now is comment this out, or I could have ignored it. Let's run the tests here. And for oh, come on. What failed? What failed? Smart engine test. Serialization. What? Oh. Come on, people. You're supposed to be watching me screw up and helping me. You're supposed to be helping me here. I did the wrong thing. I'm a bad coder. I'm a bad person, and I am not using the right thing. Why these are all failing. So let's go back and just quickly change these so that they're using the right files in the right test, and then clearing out all the old binary code, binary formatter code, because we don't want that anymore. We want that gone. So put that like that, and then put that here. Get rid of this. Grab that. Yada, yada. And I think that's the last one. I think. Come back up here. Oh, that's just a one change. Okay. So we do one there. Hold that. Let's copy that. That doesn't have anything. So now I think shouldn't have any of these Pragma warnings anymore either, because those should all be gone. I hope. That's again. Let's see what this does. Are you good? Yes. Passed. Whew, it only took me an hour. So we can get rid of this to do. We can get rid of this using namespace, and everything is better. Let's run all tests just to make sure that we're good. And we are. So let's do the right thing and put in a fixed change all the saved files to good enough for now. That actually takes something off the list. But we went nope. You have to do what we intended to do, which was put this back in. Okay, whoops. And then anywhere where we're using system.drawing, the entire solution better go away. We don't. Yeah, this is here because it needs a point there, but we need to get rid of that. That to be that. And now it should be good, right? But now all these, should just be able to remove those. So if I say look for that again, nope. For that, well, they're still all there. Why? You don't need that. You're using the new record hotness. You don't need that. So here, all the other ones, because you should all go away. You should not have that there. Save that. Drawing. That should go away too. And that. Nope. That. Here. Should be that point. And we're getting close to the end here. Apparently, we're not. I know there can't be that many left. I really hope there isn't. I don't know why I used, but it was there, you know, so something's there, why not use it? But someone's using it for the intent of what it was supposed to be used for, if that makes sense. All right, we should have all the system drawing and stuff now. Let's run all the tests, see if we broke anything, especially with the serialization. Hopefully it doesn't break anything, but we'll see. Yes, they all pass, all 28. Cool, so we're going to commit that and say updated point to a record struct. Good. Good. So I think that took a bunch of stuff off the list here in that that's done. We got the serialization thing done. That's all done. Now I got to do the WinForms thing. And it's like, what were we at? 48 minutes. But, you know, we'll take a little break here. A little snifter. Okay. So let's come back over to, get rid of that. And yes, this one. So what we want to do here, I see before I had I had a class library with all the controls in it. And then I had the actual, let me show you. I don't know why I did this. I thought this was a bright idea, which is to have this be have the controls here with all of the forms and the controls here, but then have in here just like an entry. And this is the entry point app. But I'm like, why am I doing this? This is something that I thought was a good idea, and then it's not such a good idea. And then you look back at it later and like, that's not a good idea. Don't do that. So we're going to start from scratch. We're going to actually come into here and say add new project. And we're going to say Windows Form app. And we are going to call it Quixo. Now, actually, did it actually delete it? Don't want those folders. Yeah, we want these gone. Actually want those two folders to be history. There we go. So it's going to be there. And so now well, it doesn't make it yet. Yep, that's good. Okay, so now we download that one there. Okay, good. Good. And Form 1 designer, I don't care about. Let's clean this up a little bit because we don't need nullable. The reason why I don't need those is because I actually have a directory build props file that has that stuff defined. Oh, we want to be in 2022 because, patent pending copyright. Wow, lots of text. Anyway, if you don't use this, by the way, just, if you're curious, I would highly recommend using a directory build props file at your solution level, because you can put things in here that will trickle down just like editor config does to all of your projects. And so if you want to have all your projects be the latest Lang version, just put it here. If a project needs to change something and be a little bit more customized, they can do that and it will override these settings. But this basically says this is what we want to enforce with all of our projects in a solution. And then you can tweak each project as you see fit. So I really like these props files. I'm kind of like, people in the .NET community have been asking, why don't we have like a solution file, like not an SLN file, like an SLN proj or something, like an updated SDK version of a solution file. And that never happens. And I still kind of wish that would, where you could have like an easy to edit format. Because if you ever looked at a solution file, it's just kind of blah, it's kind of ugly. But this gets this really close, where you just have the solution file. All it's responsible for is knowing what projects to load. And then you can set all these properties here. You can set your formats and what you expect for code analysis rules and whatnot. You can put that in editor config, and it works. It's good. I'm okay with that. So I think we're good here. If I look at my old code, I believe this actually just referenced, I don't care about those right now. It references these though. Okay, so we're going to want to grab that and say here. So it actually references those. Is this build? Not. All system disposable, an object created new form 1. Well, if Fritz was here and he was all hyping WinForms, why does the template give me this out of the box where code analysis is going to yell at me because I'm not disposing this? What the heck? Golly gee willikers. What's going on here? I don't get it. I have everything with code analysis turned on. I've got treat warnings as errors, like yes. And so it's sitting here looking at this because yeah, I know. I I get it, David. I'm really kind of cranked up to 11. You saw this, or by the way, I like that the team actually created an editor for the editor config, but I'm going to be honest. Yeah, I'm still editing it this way. I'm still editing it with text file. It just makes more sense to me. I don't know why. It just does. But yeah, it is. So you'll notice that it's not necessarily here. I've got things that I like. What's the one? Mark assemblies with CLS compliant. Come on, who does that anymore? But yeah, in the directory builds props, I've got warnings as errors. I've got them cranked. Well, and it's this philosophy I've had for years, which is like, if you want something to tell you that it's problematic, and if it's a yellow light, if it's a warning, what do you do at a yellow light? You gun it. You just go for it. And if it's a red light, then that's a lot more problematic. So that's usually the way I go with something. It's like, if you really want this to have, this is something that developers should follow, then make it an error and make it stop the build, because otherwise, I mean, who's ever going to do this? Remove unnecessary. I'm just doing this because, I saw this, but they don't look at all the informational things that are out there or whatever. So yeah. But why is it, why is it doing this? It's just a program file. I mean, it's just a static class. I could easily just do this and say, pull out you're not going to do come on. Where's my option? Oh, because I had the other parentheses. There we go. Oh, so if you highlight one extra parentheses here, then it doesn't realize, well, but of course, how would it know? It's like you're highlighting too much. So let's introduce a local here. Okay. Yes, accept that, reformat. So now we'll just put using there, and now everything works. So we're good. Yes, I know I've got to make this my startup. There we go. Okay. And it runs. I mean, this is not what I want, but at least that runs. So we're good there. Okay. So let's just commit this 7 started redoing forms stuff. Great message. Just gold right there. Okay. I've been going for almost an hour here. I don't know how much more energy I have, but I'm having fun. Let's look at the about dialogue here. So the about dialogue. What? Would you like to download it now? Would you like to know more? I know why this worked before, because I had actually brought it in and changed it to .NET 6. And these are still .NET Core 3, and I do not have .NET Core 3 installed on this machine. Crud. Could just change this, I guess. What would happen if I went over here and I said, a new project? Sure. What is the, all I have is that. I don't even have 5 on my machine anymore. Yeah, so that's not going to work. I'd have to change this so it's at least going to be able to load the things that I need. But this isn't what I wanted either. And I don't want to install .NET Core App 3.0 just to have this run. So, and the reason also that I'm bringing this up here is because I want to be able to actually run this. I want to be able to run this project so I can see what it's actually doing when it puts it on the screen. I guess I could. I don't even remember if .NET Core App is like end of line or not. I mean, I could do 3.1 if I needed to. I just don't remember like what the support is. It 3.1. 5 was an LTS. 6 is, I think, 3. If I made it 3.1 and I downloaded that, and I probably need the SDK too, don't I? I'm guessing I'm going to need that too, probably. So, the hosting bundle. I don't want IIS runtime support. Ugh. I just want to download. I don't want to do this, but I don't know if yes. Okay. So thank you. 3.1 was the last LTS before 6. So that should work, right? Right. If I install this, that should, I believe, and do all the things. Let's see. Build apps, SDK, Windows, installers. Sure. I want the x64. Yeah, why not? YOLO. Why not? I mean, once I get this fixed, then I can just get rid of it. So, and watch, this is going to break everything. This is all the confidence in the world that I have with versioning in .NET. So I believe it will work. So therefore it will work. So I say this word should. Yeah, I should know better. But honestly, I've been spoiled for the last 2 or 3 years or whatever. The installer in Visual Studio has gotten so much better. You can do things side by side. And for just me, my own personal experience is that it's worked really well. And, doing like .NET 2.0, 2.1, 3.0, 3.1, and having all those on my machine for a while, whatever. you just say I'm targeting this version and it would just work. So I've always had really good success with that. But we're just going to see what this does. And hopefully this actually does work ish. Sure. Install it. Why not? What's the worst thing that could happen, right? Nothing can go wrong here. Absolutely nothing can go wrong. So hopefully this doesn't take too long to oh, by the way, since I have to fill time here and I still have the book here, I actually did finish shut up, Son, please. I actually did finish a book recently. It's this one, Pro.net benchmarking. Okay. I have been really bad over the past, I don't know, a couple of years, whatever, not with like regular fiction books. I love reading. I absolutely love reading. And I actually have a problem with collecting. So I guess it's better than being addicted to crack. So I have a lot of books. Technical books, I've had this problem of just kind of like starting in them, never really finishing them. I started reading that benchmarking book and I actually got all the way through it. It's yes, Sean, we know your book's out. What is it? Something microservices thingy. What's the title? Put it in the chat. What's that book that you just read? And you had Rob work with you too, right? I think he was another co-author on that book. Yeah, why not? I mean, hey, authors, I'm an author. I wrote technical books, so why not? Let's close these because it may not pick up that I've got those installed and back up again. Let's see, going here. And we want to do, yes, we got to bring up the old one. And then we need to go in here, bring up the new one. I'll get back to the book in just a second. So that's the old one. And that's the one we're trying to update. Okay. Yeah. There it is. There it is. Pro microservices in .NET 6. Honestly, I'm sure it's a good book. Run to your nearest book dealer because, that's where everybody goes to get stuff, right? It actually goes to a bookstore. I loved going to bookstores. My wife and I would actually go on dates and check out, books that way. And that just hasn't happened in a while. But I remember one time I actually did a talk in DC. This was back in the late 90s. And this is when I was writing books for Rocks Press. And they had me go out to do a talk to some .NET, or no, it wasn't a .NET group. It was a VB group in DC. And I was at a bookstore for like an hour. I don't remember why, but it was actually a technical bookstore. And you walked in and it was literally just shelves of technical books on programming and whatnot. It was like, it was just phenomenal. I loved it. And of course, you never see that these days. That just doesn't exist. I've written a book. Yeah, I've written a couple books here, there, and everywhere. So I haven't done it for a while. It's as you found out, Sean, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So anyway, so the benchmarking book, highly recommend. It is a little dated at this point because I think it was written with .NET Core 2.1 or 3. But it doesn't change a lot of the principles. So I want to be really clear on that. A lot of what's there still makes sense. So definitely recommend. Yeah. Oh my God, a lot of work. It is a lot of work. A lot of work to write a book. Okay, so we're back here. Let's see if our little experiment had worked. If I change this to 3.1, and please, for all that is good in the world, can we just bring this up? Load. Can you find 3.1? Can you do all the things? Are you going to fail? Are you going to succeed? Well, look at that. Would you look at that? It actually worked. There, by the way, it also looks really screwed up because I run at such a high resolution. In fact, I turned it down a little bit for this stream. I don't know why I did make it more like widescreen or whatever. But there are some apps, old Windows apps that I'll run on my machine that the everything is off because it just doesn't know how to handle a screen as brilliantly as mine. What in the hell is that icon, Sean? I can't even tell. Is that money bags or are you raising your hand? I'm not hip to all the to all the icons. So, are you telling me you know what this is here? So, okay. So here's the thing, though. This actually works. So if I bring up like properties here, and let's pick because we're gonna go old school. You notice that I don't have a lot of my dockable windows actually docked. I rarely, if ever, do that. If I need to bring up like Windows Explorer or Solution Explorer, all Windows S brings it up. And then if I don't need it, boom, it goes away. But in this case, I'm going to need these things up here because, reasons. Otherwise, I'm not going to know what I'm looking at here. Okay. What is that? I don't even remember a lot of these things. It's a person with hands up excitement. Oh, okay. So I don't know if you're excited about the book or if you're excited about my code. I really hope it's not the code because who's excited about Windows Forms? Come on, All right, but we have this is like the Wayback Machine in my head. Oh my God, this is we're anchoring at top left or right. This is probably just top left or right. And where's this anchored? Top left and right. And it's a link label. And then we have a button here that probably just closes it. And that's anchored probably down bottom right. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, you're excited with me that Windows Forms works. Okay, cool. Well, we got that going for us. Okay, so we have an about dialog. So let's put that in. At least can we have one Windows Form success here by saying add a new form? Yeah, sure. And we're going to call it our about dialog. Why not? The form. Yeah, so we're going to call it about dialog. And it looks like hopefully a dialog does. Although I think, yeah, this one I don't have I got rid of the little button at the top. I've noticed that that's gone. So like here, it's still there, but okay, we need to have properties. Come on, we need to lock that in. So where is that? What was it? The maximize box. We don't need that. The minimize box. What's that other box called? I forget. Does anybody remember? Does anybody remember what this one thing is called? I want to click on it. I want to say like, what is that thing? I don't remember. Let's just look through the properties here real quick. I'm kind of looking over at chat here to see if somebody out there has any idea what that one is. Do we do form? It's a fixed dialog, which makes sense. And then I think I also have like, isn't there a way to say where it's going to be located? Start position. Yeah, that's got to be center parent. See, I remember all this stuff. How sad is that? Assume dialog button. You might be right. But I don't see like a dialog. There's double buffered. Is there there's no cancel button. We don't need that. Was Windows state normal text? Yeah, we need that because we need our text to be that. I will figure this. Yeah, it's been about 10. It's been about 10 years too. Minimize box. We got rid of minimum size. MDI. Oh my God. Do you remember MDI? That just, ugh. There's got to be, we don't have a help button. Enabled cursor. Like there's got to be a difference between the accept button. Yeah, we'll get there because we don't have an accept button. Auto scale mode. This is font. This is inherit. Whatever. Control box. Oh, is it control box? Well, see, all you have to do is just go back and forth, and you'll eventually see that the property is supposed to be what it is, and now it's gone. So, yeah. MDI. And do you know that this designer is actually running out of process because you can't load .NET Framework and .NET Core and .NET at the same time. So that's a fun thing. All right, so we have this. Do we actually have like a size here? Yeah, 52834. Why not? Let's keep the same size. 528, comma 94. And that looks horrible. Well, oh, that's the, well, of course it's going to look horrible. I wasn't looking. 577264. Yeah, that looks better-ish. Okay, so we're going to have, I'm just curious, what happens if I did that? Nope, it's not smart enough to do a copy and paste across. Oh, it is. Holy crap. Okay. Well, jeez. How exciting. Much excitement. So we want that. And that's actually top. Jeez, that how much more can I win? So much winning tonight. So much winning. It's great. Okay, I don't want to collide with that though, because I can't see it. That's good enough. Okay. And we'll just take that and we'll throw that in here because why not? It's going to be found at there. And then let's do there, except you need to be anchored over here, bottom right. So now if I would, it does that. Yep. Okay, cool. And maybe it's off a little bit. And there's much rejoicing. Yay. Oh, I get the reference, so I get it. And then there was like an accept button here. Now we can say that the OK button is the accept button. All right, does that build? Does that build? It does. How much more do I want to put into this tonight? Let's see. See, that was an easy one. That was like the easy button. These other ones are not as easy. So they're a little bit more difficult. With resizing, especially the board and stuff like that. The debug text writer does need to be in here. That's actually pretty. We can just do this. We can come over here and plop that in there, except we're going to want to change, not that. The namespace is just quick. So, and then we're going to do file scope namespace. But, oh, this is also something else I'm going to complain about tonight, which is I wish the refactoring here would work across like other ones. Like if I say up here and I say remove unnecessary usings, you'll notice I can say document, project, and solution, which is awesome. Can't do that with this one. Why not? I mean, as I've been updating projects to .NET 6 and the C# 10 feature, I want to actually put this in all my projects. And it doesn't let you do this across like all of your documents, projects, and solutions. I'm like, why not? Why don't you let me do that? I know I'm just complaining, but I wish it did that. That would be nice. Okay, so we should go here, get rid of those. What are you complaining about here? Yeah. So when we make this, why are you, let's see, bases. The behavior of text writer, good variant culture. Yeah, that's true. So we want a format provider. So we want to say culture info, culture. I believe that's the right one. Yes, it is. Okay. And we are not needing to do this because we're always going to do this, except I want to say if that's, this is where I wish your name of. Okay. If you have the preferences, yes, it does. What does? I was coding and I'm sorry. I didn't. You just need to tell them. If you have the preferences at the block scope. Oh, really? It offers a change in file scope. If you have the preference at the file scope, you get, oh, God, David, you just made my night. Preferences set where? In the editor config? Oh, well, not a warning. See, okay. What I really want to do is like, I can't actually grab this in StreamYard, but I can read. So I got that going for me. I can read. You got me excited now. So we're going to open this with this. This is a C# style namespace declarations. Oh, man. Yeah. Okay. So C# style namespace declarations equals file scoped error. Because why not? But oh, that's cool. So now you really got me distracted. Let's set the block scope. Oh, you're a genius, David. You're a gentleman and a genius, no matter what everybody says on the internet. Uh, that is great. That's awesome. You know, this actually leads to another thing, which is there is a tool that I have out there, which if you would like to get, it's free. And I know this is in Visual Studio, but still editor config generator. So it's a .NET tool, and you can go to the GitHub site. Let me just grab this if you want to get the package. And you just point this at a directory, and what this will do is it will generate a editor config generator for you. But it's only because of styles that I was able to figure out by parsing using the compiler API all these files and figuring out, you know, like, do you like var, do you like type names, and so on. This is one that I would actually want to put in, though so much code right now, because this is a relatively new feature in .NET World and C# 10, that most would resolve to end up having. If I go back here, oh, wait a minute. Oh, this is old. Let's go to new, not old and busted. Most of these would not want to be file scoped. It would be like the other thing that you said, to block scoped. I'm guessing that's probably the one. And that's not what you would want. You'd have to then come back in here and say, well, what I really wanted to be from this point on is file scoped. But I have learned something tonight, and I guess learning is half the battle. So that's a good thing. Awesome. Thank you. I really like that. I could say in solution. There you go. I wish you took off that space at the end, but you know, beer can choosers or whatever phrases. I don't know. Okay, so what's the problem here? Oh, because the extra right, it's gotta be a nullable, blah, 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 blah. Okay. If that makes sense. So that's in here. And I believe this should all build. I mean, this isn't that big of a thing. I am going to try one more. Okay. I'm going to try one more simple control. The control here is the old one. No, this is, I'm getting confused here. Which this is a piece control. Yeah. So this is actually, when you saw the game running, it was one square in the game. That's actually a piece. And then I had this set up on the board that it renders all those pieces and stretches them out accordingly. So this one, I believe, is not that. Like if I say view code, there is a couple things in here that I'm going to have to copy over. Like when you on click, on resize, on paint, because it needs to change what it's drawing here. And again, if what this code is actually doing right now can be optimized and done better, I absolutely 100% believe you, David. I think you're like the trains guy, if I remember. The trains.net guy. You do a lot with Windows Forms. If this may be like really, really bad code to make it work the way I want it to, but that's okay. I'm not trying to necessarily fix all this stuff. I'm just trying to get it to work over in .NET 6 world. That's really the only goal here. Okay. So let's come back here. And we're going to want to make a control called piece. So let's come back up here. And we want to say add. What did I just do? I make it. Yeah, it's startup priority. It's startup. I want add. I want a new user control. This user control is called piece. Yes. There you go. Okay, so auto scale mode, font, sure. I don't know. Let's see if there's anything that's changing. Size 136, 130, whatever. I don't think it really matters, but that, okay. And then use wake cursor fall. I think all the rest is the same. So it's more, yeah, if I come back here, this is old. No, this is new. And if I look at the events, we don't have any data bindings. Doesn't pick up those events though. That's interesting. So if we go to view code here though, I do have some stuff that I'm going to need to copy about guilt. Yeah, that's the train. There you go. So let's see if I can get this done in like another 5-10 minutes, and then I'm going to stop for tonight because this is actually taking a lot out of me, but it's fun. This is fun. I like this impromptu stuff. You know, it's great. Love it. We don't need all that. May need it later, but you know. Oh, and then see, it actually puts in the namespace as a file scope by default. That's even better. David, if I ever come to Australia or you ever come to Minnesota, you know, I need to buy you a drink because this has really made my night. This is awesome. So who knew that automatic blocks file scope namespaces was going to be that big of a thing? And yet it is. Here we are. Okay. So we're going to take the selected state. Let's put it down here. I like those down there. Sounds good. All right. Do I need any of these? I really don't want to mess with this too much because especially probably, yeah. And it likes me to do that. This. Oh, I'm not screwing it up too much by changing what's auto-generated. Although, no, this actually is going to be in the other one in the designer. And this is where you don't want to change anything. Yeah. Do not modify the contents, at least in this one. And I will not. Believe me, I won't. Okay. And there's your iContainer components. Or iContainer component model. Well, it's iContainer now. Container, well, whatever. Okay. We do want to keep what apparently is the selected state a piece of the current player. So close that. Put that here. And yeah, they're unused. I get it. You don't know what that is. Oh, and that's why this is going to get using QF. So framework. Nope. Yes, you should have that because we need to do this. It's from the framework. That's the thing I want, not this control piece. Current player. Yes, this is all not used yet. It will be. Just be patient. Oh, and then we can give it a actual. That's interesting. Why do I have that as a private? So this is forcing when you make it that it actually has to have a piece on it. Huh. That's interesting. That is interesting. So I guess we'll just do this and follow the same thing. That seems a little wrong, but that's okay. Initial style piece equals. Okay, so this is now saying this is probably, yeah, the null and non-nullable is going to be a lot of fun. Component design, generated code, override of the. Okay, these are overrides. That okay, yes. That makes sense. Okay. There's piece does not contain a. Oh, because we need to. That's what we need to put in here. Okay. So we'll do that. And I don't know X piece because yeah, you don't know what any of these are. So let's just grab all these X piece, O piece, current state, current player. Just drop these in here, and let's move these down here. So like properties at the bottom. Okay, so you still don't linear grid approach. You don't know what that is, but you do now. Was that right? System 2. Yeah, it must be. Okay, and then we'll get back to you. Okay, what is this? Selected. Piece does not contain. Oh, because we don't have the event, so we need to have that up here. And where do I like events? I really have a preference for where I like events. Oh, I think I do. I think I put them at the top here. Sure, why not? So now we've got E is an all. Oh, I got to validate it? Sure. Okay. Well, why doesn't it? Huh. Oh, okay, fine. I mean, it does make sense that I know because I cranked everything to 11. That's why it's complaining to me. But if I say, you know what, add a null check. But this is where, okay, David, show me more expertise. I would love for this to basically say, show me a null check with argument null exception throw if null. I want all the new hotness here. I want to say throw if null E. Okay, because it should never be null. So if you know that one. Do not declare visible instance fields. Well, yeah, but if I do that, this is saying, yeah, I mean, this is basically saying this has to be that, which is probably going to break. Well, it didn't break too much. Oh, it broke that. That was it. Okay, good. Good. What else is this? Oh, well, do that. Could we? This isn't getting a set. Good. You all good? You're all good? We build. David wants to speak. I actually spoke at if I didn't offer that for me, I probably should. So make that happen. You work at Microsoft, don't you, David? I think you do. So, it's like if somebody works at a company like Microsoft. Oh, you work there. Well, just fix everything. Fix my Xbox. Why not? But yeah, so I did actually speak at the group that David either runs or is a part of. I believe that's Adeline, if I remember right. Was that like a year ago or so? You work on. I'm jealous. That would actually be fun to work on Roslyn. That'd be a lot of fun. But I did speak at that group, and it's really hard to justify traveling to another country. Somebody will say, no, it won't be hard to justify at all, but like cost wise and everything to go to I'd love to go to Australia. I did actually a couple talks for groups in the UK. I did one for Oxford, and I'm forgetting the other one off the top of my head. They were both good. The Oxford one was really good. There's a plan in my head at some point in the future to like maybe go to like United Kingdom and Ireland and like talk to some user groups there when I'm older and about to retire and say, can I do like a tour? My wife and I do like a trip there. And then we, as we're traveling, I just speak at these user groups and have some fun and go to a pub later. Yeah. I stopped. I did do Tulsa too, if I remember right. I love in-person events. The virtual stuff was actually good from the perspective of I can easily speak at a group in Australia or the United Kingdom. I just have to make sure that the times work, and if they don't, just deal with it accordingly. I didn't have to worry about travel or anything like that. But of course, then you don't get to go to these places and spend time there, and that's the thing that still sucks. So yeah, I'd much rather be in person. I mean, this is fun. This is just streaming, and it's like anybody shows up so much, okay, that works. But there's something about like when you go to a conference, it's not just the presentation either. It's meeting people, it's building those connections, and you can do that here. That still works. But yeah, the in-person aspect of conferences and user groups, I do miss, and some have gone back to in-person. But there's this whole virus thing still going around. I hope that eventually we figure out as a group as a whole how to finally get rid of this and to do it right. And I'll just leave it at that, because I would yes, I will say this. I'll riff off of this too. What you said, Sean, is the remote option. I think it was either your group or another one where somebody said they can't drive at night. It's just too hard for them with vision, and I get that. So being able to attend a local user group remotely from their house is actually a big help to them. And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. That actually makes a heck of a lot of sense for people who might have some kind of disability that they just can't get to a place in person. Maybe they just don't have the ability to even just get there. So having a local is good. The weird thing about having the local user groups remote is that you start getting people like from Germany in these United States groups or whatever, which is fine. That's actually awesome in a way. But part of the whole reason you have these meetups is because there's kind of this local aspect to it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. Things change, things become different. Who knows how things are going to go in the future. Yeah. All right. So I think I'm going to stop here for tonight because I do have a building. There's still definitely more work that needs to go into play here. But if I look at this, I've got to do the reset option, the board, and then the main form. So I don't know if I'm going to do another impromptu one, like whatever. I'm kind of thinking of doing this maybe like every Thursday night or whenever the spirit moves, as we say. So we'll see. But this was fun. I'm glad this actually worked. I'm glad this actually was a thing that actually occurred. And I'm definitely thinking about doing this in the future. Everybody who attended, follow the account. Thanks for showing up. And I really enjoyed all the comments and everything. And hopefully I will be doing this as a more doing this more often in the future. So everybody have a good night, good day, wherever you all are. And I will all talk to you later. See ya.